What's up, Sharika? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live. Hit me with a like before we get started on this topic. What is up, Sierra? If I said that right. You do not have to tell me to talk. I am going to talk when it's time to talk. Trust me. Okay. Y'all gotta stop doing that. Y'all really have to stop. I don't know, man. I don't know if y'all just like trolling or you good. Okay. It's all good. I don't know. Like maybe y'all just don't understand what y'all be doing, or y'all don't know what y'all be saying sometimes. But it's cool. But um, I'm gonna talk about this topic because I got some time to talk. So we gonna talk about and make sure y'all, hey, put a one in the chat if you can hear me clear enough, or let me know if I'm too low. But dang, I can't even put my green screen up. Hold on. Okay, that's what's up. Thank you, Sierra. I guess they not giving me the option to put the green screen up. YouTube just weird like that. So anyway, I want to talk about people feeling like they have to do things because people got to understand that you don't have to do anything. This world and everybody in it feels obligated. And then everybody's favorite phrase is, oh, well, you know, if I don't do it, who else will? If I don't go to work, who's going to go to work for me? You know, I, every time I used to talk to family members about stuff like this, they would get real hot and dismissive because they like, girl, bye. You steady keep saying that. What would you do if you had to pay your bills but you didn't have the money to pay it? Well, I'm damn sure not about to ask nobody else to pay it for me. That's the real truth. Um, and if I had to pay my bills and I didn't have the money, it is what it is. I mean, it's only so much that you can do. It ain't, you can't really do nothing about that. What's up? I'm gonna just say Leon because I don't even know how to say the first name. But I appreciate y'all for the likes. Please stay on topic. We're talking about exactly what you seen the title, how you seen the title. That is the conversation. That's the topic. And if you can't engage, please just leave. I do not want to get thrown off in any type of way. Y'all ask me all type of other different questions that don't have anything to do with the topic. Please just leave because I will get thrown off. Anyway, and my moderator, which is my husband, is not here at this moment to moderate, I guess. Yeah. So people always try to use this. Well, I mean, if I don't have the money, what am I gonna do? Pray about it. Duh. But these the same people that have faith that they'll tell you to have faith in God. They'll tell you to pray about it. You know, but I just hate when I'm having conversations with people and they say stuff like, "Well, I have to blah 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 blah," and I have to. You don't have to do anything, especially if it's frustration behind it. You don't have to go to therapy. You do not have to go to work. You do not have to do anything, bro. Everything in this world that all of these daily tasks in our lives is completely temporary. It's temporary and it's optional, okay? And people, they still don't understand that. They still don't get that. See, they made people opt into slavery. That's the thing. And a lot of people, they still don't get that. What do you mean slavery? Nobody's a slave. Think again. Let's think again now. Slavery still exists. It was never abolished. The only thing is everything is modern times. Like we are dealing with slavery in modern times. They are enslaving the people. They are oppressing the people intentionally. These are their intentions. They got ill intent. And that's just how they roll. And like I said, this world is a gigantic ass monopoly board to them. And we're just there moving pieces. So you don't have to do anything. Nobody's putting a gun to your head and telling you to get up and go to work. And people just swear up and down, I don't need this job. All right, well, if you don't need it, then why you still go to work pissed off? Why are you still mad? You don't have to do nothing. I have to go to work. Don't go. Well, if I don't go, then all right, then shut the hell up. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of people getting mad as hell because they got to take their kids to school. I got to take my child to school. You don't have to. Nah, I just want to take them to school. They getting on my nerves anyway. All right, so why the fuck are you getting mad then? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Hold on, y'all. Since my moderator not in, I gotta control the the chat right now. Trolls will be deleted. Anybody that's coming in here off topic, your comment will get deleted and you will be blocked. Don't have time for that. Make sure y'all get the likes up on this live though, if you agree with me. If you agree with me. Oh my God. Good morning. I didn't see that as like a real actual good morning. I didn't feel that that was straight from the heart. I didn't like, come on now. I said good morning to you. You can't say it back. Nope, I can't. Because I'm not obligated like you. You have to. Okay? Y'all wake up and y'all believe that y'all have to do shit. You can wake up and decide that you don't want to go that way, that everybody else is going. You can literally wake up and say, you know what? I'm so freaking tired of this job that I've been working for 6 months. I'm done. Hey, I ain't going back in. Oh, let me tell y'all another thing. You don't have to put a damn 2 weeks notice in either. Because at the end of the day, Because people always be trying to say, "Oh, I have to put my 2 weeks notice in, so that it can look good." At the end of the day, if another job is going to hire you because they're interested in you, they're just gonna hire you. Fuck a damn 2 weeks notice. I mean, these other jobs and stuff like that. I mean, the same job that you put the 2 weeks notice in for, guess what? They ain't gonna give you notice that they ready to fire you. They gonna fire your ass on the spot and get rid of you in a hot second. You said, how do you know if they're trolling? Because they just say stupid stuff, Emma. Anytime they say dumb, stupid, retarded, off topic things, they're trolling. Those are trolls to me. That's how I see trolls. Also, trolls, they try to say stuff like, I saw you, I know you, you know, like I know you from somewhere. I saw you. Can you be my friend? Weird stuff. Like they try to pretend like they're adults and the whole time they're children. They be in the live streams and stuff. To me, a troll is anybody that is off topic, that is not talking about anything that I'm talking about, that does not relate to the topic. Like Emma, I don't look at you as a troll at this point because you just asked me a question that had to do with what I said. So I don't look at you as a troll for that. Everybody, they got their own, view of what a troll looks like to them, and that's just how I see a troll. We gonna go back to the have tos, because I ain't gonna lie. Like after I got off a laugh earlier, I just kept thinking about that. I kept thinking about how people really be in this world. Like I have to, I have to, I have to, I have to. You don't have to do nothing. You don't even, Now, if you're a child or if you're a teenager and you live with your parents, then yes, you have to. Okay. At that point, there is an obligation. Okay. And the, you're obligated to stay a child, stay in a child's place, and do what the hell you told. All right. So children have to. All right. Teenagers have to, especially when you in somebody else's crib. You gotta listen to them. So I don't. If there is children and teenagers on here, I do not want to discourage you guys from listening to your parents. You know, I need y'all to understand, man. I'm not playing. Anytime you come in here and you saying some weird stuff, I'm just gonna get you up out of here immediately. So I don't want to, interrupt children or teenagers from listening to their parents. Although I do want to say a lot of parents are freaking toxic. And they be disrespecting their children, and then they wonder why their children be turning around. They wonder why their children turn around and disrespect them back. And I'm not saying, oh, disrespect your parents. That's what you should do. No, don't do that. We don't disrespect our parents. We gotta honor our mothers, honor our fathers. We have to respect them. But some of y'all parents now, y'all do be disrespectful as hell to your children. So you need to stop that shit. And understand something. Just because they are a child does not mean that you can take advantage of the fact that they're a child and disrespect the hell out of them and call them out of their names, and say they're stupid and they're dumb and things like that. Like y'all be getting carried away. Another one. Um. So back to the I have to, and I just want to be clear. We're talking about adults in this life in 2025. We're talking about adults and how everybody feels obligated and they feel like they have to, or something is going to happen to them. Nothing's going to happen to you. That's the problem. People are so damn obligated to the point. The only reason why a lot of people are obligated is because they live in fear every day of their lives. They feel their fear is that if they don't do what they are told to do by the system, they'll lose everything they have. I'll lose my house. I'll lose my car. I'll lose my income. I have to. They make y'all asses so afraid that it don't make no sense. And see, that's how you know that people will hop, skip, and jump over being able to go through something. So, if you decide to make a sacrifice for your sanity, and you say, you know what, I'm so done with this job. I already know what's gonna come with it. I'm gonna be late behind. I'm gonna be behind on bills. I'm gonna be behind on rent. Blah 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 blah. It is what it is. I am just so fucking tired of this job. I need my sanity. I need to stay my ass behind and see if I can find something else. You know what, Emma? All right, just go. Cause I don't know what your intentions is. Like, why are you here? And I'm gonna be honest with you, you seem like a child. Like the way that you in the chat and you just saying certain stuff is childlike. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you was in my husband's streams a few times. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Or maybe that was me. But anyway, it's like you got to make a sacrifice for your sanity. And no, I'm not talking about demonic sacrifices. People are so weird. They just pick out everything that you say when you talking. Oh, she must be talking about. Look, she talking about sacrifices, but she up here telling people. Da, 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 da. I'm not talking about those type of sacrifices. I'm talking about the type of sacrifices that you make when it comes to living a peaceful life. You know, I'm talking about sacrifices that you make when you got to do what you got to do. And I'm not talking about selling your soul. I'm not, because a lot of y'all definitely sold y'all souls to the system. You know, you just can't get enough of money because you feel like you have to. So you don't feel like you have to so long, all these years, to the point where you like, you know what? I love money so much. I'll never stop loving money. No one is gonna ever tell me to stop loving money. The right thing to do is to make a sacrifice to keep your sanity. Real talk. I'm not about to work no job that's gonna piss me off every day of my life. I'm not about to work no job as to where I had to, hold my peace before I spaz out. Nah, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. Cause I shouldn't have to wake up and do that shit every single day. I shouldn't say, ooh, I hate this job so much. God, please help me today. Help me today not steal off one of these coworkers, not split the hell out of my job. Please help me. I shouldn't even have to be on my job and be like, woosah. Hell no. I'm gone. Y'all can have this. All of it. Do y'all shit. It's temporary anyway. And that's just how I feel. A lot of people, when they hear me talking, they be like, you just talking just to be talking, which really that don't even make sense. Why would I be talking just to be talking? Why would I sit down and contemplate on what I'm going to talk about because it was on my mind and I'm like, you know what? I should talk about this. So now I'm just talking to be talking. People really believe it. A lot of people say you just talking just to be talking, just simply because they don't agree with anything that you're saying. They intentionally want to block out everything that you're saying because it reminds them of who they used to be once upon a time before they sold their souls to these damn jobs. So I just want to remind you of who you used to be. You don't have to do anything because have to is an obligation, and none of us are obligated. Y'all got to know that. We're not obligated. Like I said, I'm not talking about children or teenagers. I'm talking about adults. We are not obligated. And I'm not talking about when it comes down to you hearing a person's advice and you don't want to take it. If you get where I'm coming from, because people be like, I don't have to listen to them. I'm not about to, I don't have to. Like, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our daily life, our the daily activities within our lives. Like far as working, taking our children to school, cooking, cleaning, whatever, it doesn't matter. People be like, yeah, because I have to go take this bike up here to the shop to go put some air in the tire, man. Oh my God. Y'all don't even know how many people I stood in front of and watched them get frustrated as they felt like they were obligated at the same time. And I just be standing there like, when you gonna realize that you don't have to do nothing? Nothing. When? That's a shame, man. We live like people don't even realize how controlled they are. You're controlled. And if you ain't controlled by the system, you controlled by your money. The your money. Your money controls you. Your money controls you. Your money literally will control your whole entire life. And honestly, your money will control your day. Real talk. When I was a kid, when I was a kid, I remember on the weekends, I always felt like we had to get up and go. We had to go. We had to go. As a kid, kids want to get outside. We want to go outside. We want to play. We want to go to the park. We want to go to Chuck E. Cheese's. We just like to do fun things. My bad, y'all. I was getting a call. If the call comes through again, unfortunately, the live stream will get interrupted. Um, like I said, we just want to have fun. We want to live. We just want to do fun things as children, right? So I was so used to doing things all the time, every weekend, to the point where I asked my mom. I said, "Can we please go to Chuck E. Cheese this weekend?" No, I don't have no Chuck E. Cheese money. This is what she used to say. She used to say, I don't have this type of money. I don't have this type of money. I said, okay, well, can we just at least get out the house? She would say, and do what when we get out the house? I said, at least go window shopping. Like, window shopping? You want to go window shopping. You're not going to do anything but get mad when you can't get what you want. I said, I promise you I won't. No, because she told me no, in order to do things, you have to have money. Keywords now, have to. And I told her, as a kid, this is exactly what I said. I said, no, we don't have to have money to have fun. We can still have fun without money. She said, no, we have to have money to do something. Like, and I've always felt since I was a child, you don't have to, I never followed that. I could never follow that because I could never understand because I was always able to have fun without money. Seriously. I was like, and that's what I mean. Who the hell are you without that money? People believe that they have to all the time, you know. So this is exactly why when they at home, they don't know what the hell to do but sit in their phones. You can't even have time for your own damn self because you believe that you have to have money. And meanwhile, if that was the case, if and this is all due respect, you know what I'm saying? I don't disrespect my mom or anything. But if that was the case though, why is it that as a grown adult woman that has children of her own, my children know that I still know how to have fun without money? They be like, man, mom, it's so fun. Yes, I love to have fun. Love it. You know, I play with my children, chase after them. They just be cracking up, tickle them, crack jokes with them. Like, we know how to have fun without money. And guess what? We know how to do a lot of things without money. Hey, if you want to get out the house, if we want to get out the house and we want to enjoy and we want to have fun and stuff like that with our little one, you know what we doing? pack up some lunch from inside the crib. The food that we got here, if we ain't got no money and we ain't trying to spend, we ain't got no money to spend, you know? Let's pack up some lunches and stuff like that. Let's go to a nice park. Let's go to a forest preserve. Let's do something that does not require spending. And that's easy as hell. Seriously. I don't know what you need my help with, but if you're trolling, just to let you know, I do want to warn you, you will get blocked and put up out of this live. Cheyenne, Crafted, what's up? So the thing is, we're looked at, me and my husband, we looked at as horrible people just because we decide that we want to go in the opposite direction of what everyone else is doing because everyone else is obligated. Everyone else feels like they have to. Meanwhile, we on the side steady trying to tell people you won't have to do nothing, but they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. And there's only so much that you can say, so much that you can do to help people out of that mindset of feeling like they obligated, man. Real talk. Real talk. And let me tell y'all something else too. Don't never let anybody make you feel bad because you're not working, bro. Don't never in your life make anybody make you feel bad because you don't have enough money. Don't never feel embarrassed because you got to pull pennies and coins out your pocket to buy you a sandwich or, buy you a water or something. Like, real talk, people that clown people for stuff like that, evidently they ain't never been through nothing. And even if they have been through something, they ain't learned from the shit. You just a more humble person. So don't never let nobody make you feel bad for not having a job and, or for opting out of work, period. Don't never let nobody make you feel like you wrong because you decided that you no longer want to work anymore because you're tired of the work life. You know? Stomach growling and everything, and I'm on here steady talking, but I don't care because I don't know, man. I ain't really hungry. I don't have a certain taste for anything. I don't have to go in the fridge and find me something to eat. And it ain't because I'm forcing myself. That's another thing. It'd be crazy when I have to literally back up certain words that I say because people. Let me take this call. All right, y'all, we back. My bad, my bad. Skidby Duda. I don't know how to pronounce your name. You said, girl, you lost weight, skin is clear, love that for you. I appreciate it. You know what's crazy? A lot of people keep saying it, and I ain't realizing. Matter of fact, I gotta admit the truth, y'all. I gotta tell y'all something. No, I am not pregnant, okay? And even if I was, I will be happy, okay? Because people, we gonna get to that in a second too about women disliking being pregnant. But anyway, I do want to let y'all know I did drop down like 15, 20 pounds because, man, I'm talking about I had a little bit of weight on me. I was like 220. I was 220, but I dropped down simply because I'm active. I move a lot. Moving a lot. See, what was stuck on me was baby weight. Still baby weight. And honestly, when you in your 30s, you gotta get moving. You gotta move. You gotta move. I stand up a lot. I barely eat. I ain't gonna lie. I don't really eat like that. And when I do eat, I eat probably like once, maybe even twice a day. And I eat small meals because I don't be hungry for a lot, you know? And I just move. I move, I move, I move. If I'm not exercising and I forget to exercise, I just walk. Simply walk. Um, that's that. That's that. It's a few unhealthy habits. I ain't gonna say it's really a habit though, because I'm not as addicted how I used to be, which is to pop, bro. pop. Um, yeah. So I did drop down a few pounds or whatnot. I'm really trying to get to like 160, 175. Trying to get back down to where I was back in like 2017, 2018. I was like 160, 170. But yes, I am in the hundreds now. Finally, I'm out of the 200s. Um, so yeah, I appreciate that. I have been noticing a lot of people been saying the same exact thing. They like, you just lost weight and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm trying. Uh, but it's another thing too. When I be telling people, they don't even believe me when I say I got 6 children. They like that of your own. Yes, you don't even look like you had 6 kids. Usually people be, yeah, I know. But see, the greatest part about all of my pregnancies though is I was not a big eater at all. It was morning sickness, extremely bad. I had really bad morning sickness with all of my pregnancies, especially the boys. Especially the boys. Um, so I could barely eat. And then when I was eating, I would only crave like fruits and veggies and stuff like that sometimes. Sometimes. One of the pregnancies, I was highly obsessed with Taco Bell. I don't know why. Taco Bell and damn Subway. Where's Tupac? You're out of here. Thank you. So, let's go back to what we were saying. Oh, matter of fact, I just want to say this in regards to, and I definitely gotta do a topic on this specifically though. But women, a lot of women has normalized, bearing a child as a bad thing, and it's sick. It is sick. The way that people think with their mind. Now I can understand if you're not ready yet. You know what I'm saying? I can understand that. If you still want to have a child, but you're just not ready yet. That's fine. But it didn't get to a point where women has normalized, pregnancy as a bad thing. For instance, a lot of women within my family, on both sides of my family, they are very judgmental, and this is exactly why, on some real stuff, my children are not connected to either parts of the family because I'm trying to break generational curses. And I don't need nobody trying to judge me for bearing a child and being pregnant and wanting to have children. You said every woman is judgmental. Of course, everybody has their judgment, Everybody has their judgments, but nobody is about to judge me for being pregnant or for bearing a child. That's unnormal. Real talk. But I'm going to be honest with you. People have allowed this society and social media. The only reason why a lot of women are judgmental, what's your name? Being, is because, people have allowed social media to corrupt their minds to the point where they just highly disagree with women being pregnant, other women being pregnant. It's to the point where that's evil. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Because babies are a blessing. And if you think about it, we were babies once upon a time. We were not born, but we were inside of our mother's wombs. So ain't that weird to actually judge another woman for being pregnant or for bearing a child? What's wrong with y'all? God, my bad, y'all. Now, I had to take that important call. Very important. So we were talking about women, right? Yeah, I feel like that's weird that women are, judging other women for being pregnant and having children and things like that. Um, and another thing too, people try to identify whether you should have a child or not based off of your financial status. Well, my thing is, if you're ready for that and you're ready to have a child, don't worry about what everybody else got to say about your financial situation. People be saying,
Why would I bring a baby into this world with a child everything that's going on?
That's fear monger. That's fear monger right there.
Why would I bring a baby into this child into this world and everything is just going on and all of this stuff is going on?
Um, because you're in fear. That's why. You know? What if you finally meet your king someday and he's willing to, we gonna get you up out of here. But what if you meet your king one day and he's willing to put a baby in you and he wants you to carry his child? Are you going to be pissed off and upset? I remember once upon a time the men used to, guys, I'm not going to say all men, but most guys used to get upset, when they would get a woman pregnant and they would say, I don't want that child, go, terminate. Go terminate the pregnancy. I don't think I could say abort on here, but go terminate the pregnancy. I'm not ready for no child. It really used to be like that. It really, really, really used to be like that. Now, these clinics, and we talking Planned Parenthood clinics, are packed with women terminating pregnancies. And I just feel like that is so selfish. It is so selfish. Every human being deserves a life, no matter what. No matter what. No matter what. I already know what y'all thinking. And it's like, what if blah, 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 blah happens? Every human being still deserves a life. Seriously. And I understand a lot of people is not going to agree with what I'm saying. They not going to agree with what I'm saying. A lot of people, because the world has turned bunkers, real talk. They done turned crazy. People allow social media to really corrupt their minds to the point where they just not them no more. You don't even think for yourself no more. You going along with everybody else's opinions instead of your own. Once upon a time you felt like every human being deserves a life, but now you just feel like, oh no, because this, that, and the third, and the politics what does politics have to do with me wanting a bigger family? Real talk. And I'm not saying me specifically. I'm just talking about in general. What the hell they got to do with me? They're going to do their thing. At the end of the day, they're going to continue to be corrupt. They're going to corrupt the world, eventually. So, you another one. They're going to corrupt the world, This is what they've been doing for freaking centuries. Real talk. But that should not stop us from living our lives, bro. We cannot be in fear. We shall not fear anything or anyone. Because they're going to do what the fuck they do at the end of the day. And a lot of people just don't understand that because they feel like they have to, abide by everything that goes on with the system and, politics and yeah, I have to vote. I have to listen to everything that was sent to me on this sheet of paper in the mail. I have to. Well, I mean, are you living for yourself or are you living for what you have to do? Are you living for yourself or are you living for what you have to do? Do you feel obligated? Because I have asked people this question too before. Do you feel obligated? Obligated? No, I'm not obligated to do anything. You sure about that? Because you keep saying that you have to, and you saying it with frustration, and you saying it as if it's like you don't want to, but you have to. That picture that y'all see on my thumbnail, I put that up there. Because that represents the city that I live in. And when you go downtown Chicago, everybody is obligated at that point. The whole world is in downtown Chicago and they feel obligated. You see people holding their coffees and they got their bag on their arm and they are rushing to get to their corporate buildings. People holding their coffee in the morning and they ready to hurry up and rush to work because they have to. And they feel like if they don't, they'll get fired. Listen, this is my thing though.
If you want to go to work, go to work. If you want to. I just feel like, we should live our lives how we want to live our lives. And I'm not talking about in living your life negatively. I'm not talking about that, because we should all want to live right. Unfortunately, a lot of people would prefer wrong, because they want to live their last days clubbing. And hey, my hands is tied. I can only talk about so much and what we're actually supposed to do the right way. And if you go against that, that's on you. It don't have nothing to do with me. But we should live our lives how we want to live our lives. And we should not live our lives according to a freaking system and what they want us to do. Because a lot of people will never get out of the mindset of feeling obligated. They will never. You not know how many of my family members, elders now, they're now elders, their whole entire lives, they have felt like they have to. And that's to the point where they old and they tired and they hunched over and they're retired and their bones done broke down and they in wheelchairs and rocking chairs and they got canes and they got all type of health issues now. And the reason why is because for so long they felt like they had to do shit. And the thing about it is, no gun was put to their head. Nobody threatened their lives and told them, if you don't do this, there will be a problem. There is something also that I want to talk about. And the only time that you have to do shit against your own will to fight for your damn freedom, as a man though, is when you are dealing with the child support system. The crooked ass child support system will make your ass do that shit without holding a gun to your head. Because if you don't pay your child support on time, this is a topic that must be discussed. And I'm not going to go fully into it all the way here, because we're going to make that another topic. I'm going to have to write down these topics and stuff, y'all, because there's a few more. I have to do I caught myself right there. You want to know why? Because I have an obligation, and my obligation is to get the truth out here. I just feel like I am highly obligated by God to get the truth out here, especially if I know the truth. If I know the truth, I want to talk about the truth to other people that don't know the truth. The truth is, the child support system will make you feel like you have to fight for your freedom, because that's exactly what the hell they got these men out here doing, fighting for their freedom. Their freedom is on the line. And if you don't pay your child support payments, because you got fired from your job, or because whatever is going on with your job to the point where you got fired or you had to quit, or you just, health reasons and whatnot, you will get your ass locked up if they find out that you're not working. And you better have a damn good reason as to why you wasn't working. The system is so dirty, they want to literally dog your ass to the point where they want you to go to work for free, be their slave, so they can get that money. They can garnish your checks. This is what they're doing to these men out here that's on child support. Garnishing the fuck out of their checks to the point where they're literally left with nothing. Probably $5, if that. They're left with nothing. The system is stripping your ass of everything that you have because of your bitter ass baby's mother. And she's working right along with the system. They done got you put on child support, now you fighting for your damn freedom. And the system dares your ass to give up working, and then they're going to lock your ass up. And if you think you're going to run, they're going to put a warrant out for your arrest. Simple as that. Slave catchers. Let's be 100. They're slave catchers. That's all. That's all it is. It is ways around it. The only thing is you're going to have to fight with the damn system, to be able to get them to drop the percentage on how much they're taking out of your checks. You know, that might be a little hard battle, but I mean, is it worth the fight? Maybe, if you want to keep your job, if you want your freedom, unfortunately. Um, it's a shame. It's a shame. They will lock you up and strip you of your rights simply because you have personal things going on in your life to the point where you can't work. And if you don't get your ass out there in their field, you're going to spend some time locked away. And the question is, how is that helping the situation? How is that helping a child? You know, y'all claim child support, right? That's how you know that's not the case. It is just the fact that they would like to control. They like the form of control. They like to control the people. And they definitely like to control minorities and black men and throw their ass and lock them away. Slave catchers. Slave catchers. Be careful who y'all lay down with. Be careful. Because these women, they will, when I tell you, when a woman becomes bitter enough and evil, she will do that to you. She will put your ass on child support. You know, just because and most of the times it ain't even about the money, because some of these women know that they're not really gonna get shit because the system keeps a huge percentage of the man's income, you know, and they throw you out a little bit of something here and there. But sometimes it don't even really be about the money. It's just the fact that they like to sit back and watch their ex be controlled by the system, which is evil. That is the ultimate evil. A lot of women out here are really evil. Really evil. You know, they have the spirit of Eve in them. A lot of women, and I'm talking like from a woman's perspective, I see this going on a lot. I see a lot of evil within women, especially, I hate to say it, black women. I hate to say it, and I hate to call us out. But hey, if you're not evil, then you know I ain't talking about you. But if the fucking shoe fits, wear it, please. But I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of women are evil. They're evil. And like I said, if they get evil and bitter enough, they will put your ass on child support. If they get evil and bitter enough, they will gang stalk you. They will do everything in their power to ruin your life. Even if they don't know you personally, and they just have that authoritative figure to ruin your life, they will. A lot of these women are evil. And y'all know what's crazy? A lot of these women, they work within a system. If you ask me, I don't even know the percentage of women that actually work within the system, but it's more women that work within the system than it is men. Seriously. And a lot of these women, some of them are very evil, and they will ruin your freaking life because they feel like they have to. That is their obligation. They sold their souls to the system. They sold their souls to be able to get a high position, you know, and it's a lot of evil that's circled around that. This is exactly why people, they got to understand something. I don't believe in that voting shit, you know, and that's just my opinion, you know. A lot of people, they just feel like, you know, voting is very important, things like that. I guess I can't do it, man. I'm tired of the corruption. Because if you think about it, it's been many years of corruption, consistent corruption. This is just what they do. This is just what they do. It don't matter who the hell they put in office in your city or in your state. Still gonna be corruption. What the hell are they gonna fix? What are they gonna fix? Because I don't know about y'all, but I know here where I'm at, in this city, in this state that's corrupt as hell, they still ain't fix shit. They ain't fix nothing. Everything's still the same. Only difference is everything is getting more expensive. Things are becoming a lot more expensive. That's the only thing. And I'm sure everybody knows that shit is going up, but nothing is. You said what? That's why you move? What? And the only reason why I'm gonna time you out is because I could tell that you don't have good intentions at all. You're trying to troll. You're ready to troll. You're ready to be ignorant as hell, and that's fine. You can go do that shit on your own time. But anyway, people gotta understand that they don't have to do anything. That's why I got on here. You know, it was on my mind, and I just felt like I need to tell the people. Like, whoever views this, whoever's listening, whoever's watching, you know, if you ever feel like you have to take a step back and say, hold on. Because, like I just had to do, not ignore an emergency phone call. I had to eventually pick the phone up. And when it just comes down to certain circumstances in your life, you know, of course we have to. But when it comes down to like buying materialistic things, going to work, like I said, cleaning up, you know, daily activities and stuff like that, or I guess bills, whatever, like materialistic temporary things, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to. And if I don't make sense, oh well. You'll figure it out, you know, along the way, that you're going to eventually get tired of doing shit. I'm going to just be honest with you. Because as an adult, when you got older and you say, you know what, I'm leaving my mom's or, you know, my parents' home, and it's time for me to get my own place now. At that point, when you finally realize you all on your own, you're going to realize that you don't have to do shit. Eventually you will. Because we be in that mindset when we leave our parents' home, we finally get our own shit, you know, we still feel obligated at times. It's like, man, I gotta do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. I have to do that. You don't have to do shit. You don't have to. Especially if you don't want to. That's the thing. Keep trying to say that. Now, if you want to, go ahead. But we still got to understand we are not obligated. We are not obligated. That picture, that thumbnail that you see, everybody that's in that damn thumbnail is obligated. Everybody. You know? And I see let me tell y'all something. The world, like, the way that they set this up, this is all their way of being able to have control over the people, right? So let's talk about the morning rush, the afternoon rush, things like that. The morning rush all across the world, you know, it's ridiculous. It's like everybody literally gets up at the same time, get themselves together at the same time, take their kid to school at the same time, go to work at the same time. You know, everybody does. Even if you don't go to work, you got to get your kids up at the same exact time that everybody else got to get their kids up at the same exact time, because school starts at the same fucking time all across the damn world. I don't give a damn if school start at 6:30 a.m. You know, you got some schools that start at 6:30 a.m. You got some schools that start at 9 a.m. At the end of the day, it's happening all across the world. In between that time frame, there's a lot going on. That's why you see so much freaking traffic outside, and traffic don't die down until about 10 a.m. if you ask me. And traffic is back in motion at 2:30 p.m. That's that afternoon rush, and that's when everybody's rushing to get off of work so they can go pick their kids up from school, or the kids is getting out of school, and there you go, traffic again, and it don't die down until after 5 p.m. They're literally controlling everybody. They have that control. It's unfortunate though, you know. And it's a sad situation too, especially when all these businesses open up at the same damn time. Majority of them. You got some of these businesses that open up at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. A way to control the people. Especially the businesses don't open till 10 that you wish that was open at 8 a.m. They don't open till 10, and then you got everybody sitting out in the parking lot or standing, forming a line and shit outside the door until they asses unlock the door, so that you can go in and shop just like everybody else is at 10 a.m. Their way of the control. And it's a shame, it's a shame. It's a shame. I'm heavy on homeschooling, real talk. I do not want my children in freaking public school. I don't want that for them. That's where the problems start. Problems start there, in the damn schools. Honestly, the problems, a lot of these teenagers and these kids that be roaming around here that's messed up in the head is because the problems really start at home. But when you got a good kid and you send them to school, you start realizing that they act in a certain way. That's because the problems happen there at the school. Because you have a huge school full of a bunch of children. There's hundreds and thousands of children, that come from different homes that is exposed to different type of things inside of the homes, and they bring it there to school to the point where they start acting out the things that they see, and it's a shame. It's a shame because that has a heavy influence on the good child that you have. That's why I am heavy on the homeschooling. And honestly, I'm not a lot of parents don't want homeschool because they asses do not feel like teaching their child. They don't feel like they feel like it's too much for them. It would take too much of their time, to train up their child, when actually it's in the Bible. We got to train up our children. We should be able to send our children to school without any issues. And another reason why I'm actually heavy on homeschooling is because school shootings. Real talk. I don't have time for that. Real talk. I do not want to sit back and be sitting up here like, damn, I should never took my child to school. It's best. Hey, it's a way around bullshit, honestly. Shout out to my hubby. He said his grandpa taught him that, It's a way around bullshit. And my way around bullshit is to keep my child home and homeschool. She gonna learn everything she needs to know before she has to get out here and get independent. I don't want my child to be taught the wrong shit in school. That's another thing. See, the school system has a very negative influence on children. Real talk. They want your child to get vaccinated, all type of stuff. They want your child to get juiced up in order to go to school. Why? What if I don't want that shit inside of my child? Oh no, you have to, that's what we have to do. We have to see the records, the records, and we got to make sure that the child is getting vaccinated and things like that so they can go to school. I mean, my child ain't got no disease. That's the thing. So it's like I'm just coming here to get my kid here so they can learn, learn the curriculum, learn like what the fuck is y'all worried about a child getting vaxxed for? And the pressure behind that, this is how you know these school systems is corrupt. Because the pressure behind parents getting their kids vaccinated in order to get to school, that's questionable, because you got to think about something. If you don't get your child juiced up or whatnot, they're going to be knocking at your door. They're going to have the police there and they're going to have CPS at your door. If you don't this is what happens when you enter your child inside the public school system or the school system, period. You know, you're exposing you pretty much giving them access to your life at that point, because they got all type of questions. They want to know the social security numbers. They want to know where you live, the relatives, you know, if you getting your child vaccinated every year, you know, getting them followed up with the, like, that's ridiculous, man. I don't have time for that shit. And then, you know, they're teaching our children the wrong things in school. Let's be honest, especially when it comes down to history. That is not the truth. I don't want my child being lied to. Then they coming home trying to talk to me about a false ass damn history, you know, not even knowing that the real history was erased a long time ago. I don't want my child unnecessarily knowing about things that they don't have to know about, you know. And I'm talking about, they done sat here and they made us go through school all these years learning stuff that's not even relevant in today's time. What the hell do I need to know about chemistry and biology? And that ain't got nothing to do with right now. They don't have, like, if you ask me, I just feel like children, or any child that goes to school, teenagers, whatever, I feel like the basic things should be taught: spelling, reading, writing, and basic ass math, like division, maybe even fractions. I don't know. Fractions really, if you ask me, it don't really matter that much. But I'll say measurements. But measurements should only apply when your child is interested in cooking, construction, or what is the name of that shit? I used to take it up my sophomore year. Carpentry, things like that. I don't know, but I just feel like the basic things, you know, like addition, subtraction, and division, and maybe I'm missing something else. I feel like that's basic, and that's what they should know. You know, counting money, knowing about money, obviously, unfortunately, that's a must. Basic shit. Definitions, you know, definitely definitions, knowing definitions to certain words. um I just feel like children should go to school for that. Real talk. Obviously, colors, we already know about all this. The basic things is what I'm saying. And when it comes down to other things, like, say for instance, when your child becomes a teenager and they're in high school, I feel like they should also offer other programs. And I do know that some of these high schools offer things like carpentry and cosmetology and fashion designing and things like, I don't know if they still have that, but I know back when I was in high school they had stuff like that. And honestly, sex education, I don't feel like children should be in school learning about stuff like that. I feel like that should come from the parents, not no damn teachers, man. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, we were lied to about a lot of sexually transmitted, you know, we were lied to about a lot of that stuff. A lot of these teachers, they had to teach us, they didn't even know what the hell they was talking about, just talking. And then they wonder why the same exact class that they had taught, they wonder why a lot of these kids be running around, you know, giving out, you know, STs. Listen, all in all, I just strongly, strongly feel like, my honest opinion, homeschooling is the best option. When you put your child in school, there is a lot that comes with that. There's a lot of things that come with that, you know. You might have to go up to the school every now and then. You know, your child might be talking about there's a bully, somebody picking on them, all type of stuff, man. I don't have time for that. Real talk. And I just want to say, like, you know, when I put my children in daycare, they were picking up a lot of bad things from daycare. Daycare centers are horrible too. And I'm not gonna say all daycare centers because I don't want to discourage anybody, you know. But there is a daycare is a very deep topic. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of parents don't even understand that they are putting their infant, when you put an infant child into daycare, you don't even realize what you're actually doing to them mentally, though. Mentally, yes, because your child needs you. You know, babies, they need their parents. They can still smell your scent. You know what I'm saying? So when you leave from away from them, they're gonna be crying and screaming and hollering. And a lot of these daycare centers, they are not, a majority of them are not equipped mentally to be able to handle all of that crying. I used to work in a daycare center, and a lot of the staff members, you know, they used to get pissed off with the little infants and the babies for crying and shit like that, you know. And I'm looking like, that's because they miss their mom, they miss their parents, bro. They don't know that they gotta wake up in the morning and come to a fucking center and be away from their parents and be around a bunch of other people that they don't even know. Like, they're forced to have to do that, and I feel like that's wrong, real talk. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I learned about stuff like this, as far as daycare centers. I didn't even know that it was deeper than that. Like, I learned about this shit last year. Um, my child was in daycare for five. No, she did not start daycare until she was 5 months, and she didn't even last that long. I'm gonna be honest with you. We got her up out of there when she turned 1. Yeah, she was on and off there. She wasn't really there like that. And they will always hit us up and be like, you know, where's the child? Why she ain't come to daycare today? I'm looking like, because we didn't feel like it. The fuck? Like, we don't have to do anything. So we ain't feel like taking her to daycare. Plus, on top of that, we were starting to notice certain things that she was picking up from the daycare center from other babies, other children. She was acting, you know, just like them. And I'm like, hell no, you know, we're not gonna take her back up in the no. And as a matter of fact, we had tried multiple before we chose that daycare center. There was more other daycare centers that we looked into. We went to go do tours. We had talks and stuff with the teachers, and see, one thing about us is we can pick up on the vibe immediately, you know. So immediately, all we got to do is look around, make sure that everything is up to par. If it's not up to par, X us out. We ain't putting our child up in here. But if it's up to par, the next thing that we do is we peep the scenery. We looking at the kids and how they're acting. We looking at the teachers and how they acting, how they responding to the children. Sometimes they put on a facade in front of parents that's coming to do tours, duh. But you know, we paying attention most importantly to the director, you know. And those daycare centers that we went to, we didn't like it, you know. And we wasn't feeling it. But the daycare center we chose to put her in, we thought everything was cool. We thought everything was cool. It was a brand new daycare center. Everything was clean. They do keep it clean up in there. I can't get them that. You know, the kids was out of control. They had no control over the children. That was the bad part about it. And I'm not talking about the infant room. I'm talking about the 3-year-olds, the 2 and 3-year-olds that was already coming into the center from behaviors that they displayed at home. They come into the center, the daycare center, showing them same damn behaviors. I started to peep that a few months down the line, because there was this one kid, he had, no disrespect to children that have autism, but he had a different type of autism, to the point where it will have him, you know, flipping out, throwing chairs and screaming and hollering and stuff like that. And my baby, she started seeing stuff like that, and she thought that it was okay to yell and throw things. But she would do it, and she would do it while she's playing. And I'm like, why is she starting to act like that little boy? You know? And the reason why she was starting to act like him is because they would put the babies in the morning time. They would put the babies around the little kids at the same time until the other teachers came in and clocked in, and they transitioned the babies to the other room. So she had to get a feel of being around other children that was a little bit older than her, that got all these different type of things going on with them, or whatever the hell they doing. And you know, I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't. And then on top of that, the teachers was irresponsible as hell. The director, she was, taking up for the teachers. Anytime I would tell her something was wrong, or it's like, oh no, I'm like, you know what? The fact that you don't hold no type of accountability, and the fact that you always have something to say every time I come to you as a parent that has concerns or questions, and you don't want to hold no accountability, you know what? I'm done. I'm cool. I'll just keep my child at home. It's easier for me anyway. I can teach her everything she needs to know from home, and she been learning, and she been doing a damn good job. So I yeah, it's and I gotta learn how to do reaction videos, y'all. I gotta learn how to do that. It's an app that I gotta download because I want to post these clips. Matter of fact, you know what? I actually do know how to do it because I did it on one of my other videos a long time ago, like last year or something. But I want to like insert these clips, and I'm not talking about when I go live. I'm talking about when I do a regular video, so I can show y'all exactly what I'm talking about, and it can be broken down from the videos, and then we could talk about it, because I couldn't believe when I seen that little documentary on daycare centers, and I'm like, damn. I knew it was something that was odd about that, because it's like we as parents tend to be so like, oh yeah, my child is now old enough to go to daycare, not even thinking that it is mentally ruining them, to be honest. It's a lot that come with it, because they need us. They need us. They need their parents, around them. And honestly, we don't know what the fuck goes on in these daycare centers. Another big reason why I took her out of that daycare center is because she had no cameras. She had no cameras in there. And when I asked her about that, she said, oh, give me, this a new daycare center, so you got to give me a few weeks and stuff, and I got to come up with this money. I might have to get a loan so I can get the cameras put up. And right when I decided to take my child out of childcare, she started to put the cameras up. So, yeah, I don't have time for that. I seen another video where this young black girl was screaming and crying, on the news because she dropped her child off at daycare, and that was it. It was like she dropped her child off at daycare, and she was never able to go back and pick her child up and bring her child home. You want to know why? Because her child got dragged out of that daycare in a body bag. Why did he get dragged out in the body bag? Because they claimed that he choked on a damn meatball. You mean to tell me I decide that I'm going to take my child to daycare today, like I do all the time, and the day that I take my child to daycare because I trusted y'all asses, my child is being dragged out of here in a freaking body bag because you talking about he choked on a meatball? Oh, hell no. And the daycare center didn't even call her. They didn't call her. They didn't tell her, what the hell was going on and things like that. They told her, oh, they finally called her and told her, yeah, we need you to just come up here. Everything's fine. Man, y'all, they doing CPR on the baby the whole time. But they lied and told her everything was fine. We just need you to come up here. It's a medical situation. He choked on the meatball, and, we just trying to make sure he okay. She gets there. The paramedics is there, in a whole nother room with the blinds closed and the door shut. And when she walked up and she's like, what's going on? Where is my child? They talking about, oh, he's okay. They're just trying to, revive him. They trying to revive him. What the fuck? What you mean revive him? She was like, oh yeah, well, we were eating lunch and, he choked on the meatball. And so, we tried to do, nobody wanted to do CPR though. So How did you try? How the fuck did you try? And my child is in this other room fighting for his life in your fucking daycare center. You talking about you tried, but nobody wanted to do CPR. So how was that a try? So you telling me you watched him, you and your staff members sat on the sideline and watched my son choke on a damn meatball? And you sitting up here talking about you tried, but nobody wanted to do the CPR because they was too scared? Bro, daycare centers have to be certified. They need a certificate of completion from CPR classes. And that is what the fuck they have to do. Okay, that is an obligation. When you work inside of a daycare center, your ass have to perform CPR on a child when they're choking or whatever the case may be. And you telling me all these staff members was just standing around watching this baby choke to death, literally. To the point where when she tried to walk in the room, the EMTs told her, oh, you can't be in here. How the fuck I can't be in here and it's my child, bro? I want to stand beside my child. They talking about you can't be in here. That is a lawsuit. And I pray for that lady. And I pray that she really sued the pants off of their asses. And she needs some more justice. And I'm talking about they all need to be reprimanded for their actions. Number one, they all need to lose their jobs. Number two, their asses need to be locked up. Because that's murder. That's murder. You sat there, you watched that baby choke on a meatball. You got parents that's trusting and believing in these daycare centers and believing that once we drop our children off, to go to work or go to handle important business because we're off of work, we believe that you taking care of our child. We believe that, our child is in good hands and stuff like that. No fucking parent should have to get a call saying that the EMTs is here because your child was choking on a meatball, and now when you get there, they couldn't revive him and he's dead. And you got to drag him out in a body bag. She said that it wasn't even 2 hours after she dropped him off. She said it wasn't even 2 hours after she dropped him off. He choked on a fucking meatball literally an hour or an hour and a half after you dropped him off. And she was crying and she was holding on to his shirt. And she said, the last memory that I have of my child was how he looked at me with a worried look. And he gave me a look before we left out of the house as if he didn't want to go to daycare. She said we had just got back. She said the day before they had just got back from being on vacation. And her son touched the sand for the first time, I believe. Yeah, she said he was 2 years old. He touched the sand for the first time. He got a feel of the beach for the first time. They went on a trip and things like that for a few days, a little vacation. And then they came back. And once they came back, she told him that she was taking him to daycare. And he gave her this worried look and was like, I don't want to go. And she said, I wish I had just really just told him, you know what, baby, we just gonna stay home. She said, instead, I decided to take him to this daycare center that I trusted all this time. And now my child was dragged out in a body bag. That gotta be one of the most saddest yet diabolical stories. Real talk. I mean, I can't, man. I can't. I feel like my reaction to something like that, oh man, y'all definitely was gonna have to call more than some news reporters, motherfuckers. Y'all was gonna have to call the police, the SWAT team, all type of shit, man. And matter of fact, before it get real crazy, y'all call these parents so they can come get their kids right now. Right fucking now. Because we got a problem. Ain't no motherfucking way. You telling me that I dropped my child off at this daycare center and I gotta watch my child not have a life anymore? He's being dragged out in a body bag? Hold on, what? This is exactly why we can't do this shit, bro. We cannot do daycare centers You know, I done had way too many incidents before at previous child care centers, not with my new child, but with my other children. You know, when they was in daycare centers and shit like that, they was getting hit and beat on and stuff like that by the teachers. And we definitely had a freaking problem. Oh yeah. You got me fucked up if you think you about to put your hands on my child. I'm just gonna warn your ass that you might, you know, you might want to call the police right now. I'm gonna warn you that you might want to get the police involved for this one, because if you think that I'm gonna let you put your hands on my child without my permission, it's a problem. And you know, a lot of things that they used to do, they used to hit my children and then they would fault me and say the mom, you know, and mind you, they wasn't even writing up incident reports on this shit. They would say, oh yeah, well, the mom, you know, the child came here like that. No, the fuck they didn't. No, they didn't. And, you know, on some real stuff, the times where my kids was coming to school with scrape marks and shit like that, majority of the times it was because they was always outside. They always around their family members and stuff like that. Well, other family members, you know, always playing. I always took them somewhere. They're kids. They're going to run, jump, play, you know, fuck themselves up, all type of stuff. But I don't have time for that. I can't do no daycare centers. I'm not finna deal with no damn school systems and shit like that unless I really have to. If I have to, then I will. But I'll make sure I choose a damn good daycare or a school. Simple as that. Simple as that. I've been talking a lot, you know. So my closing remarks on this live stream is going to be, please don't never feel like you have to do something that you know that you don't have to do. If it is a must and you have to get it out the way and get it done, hey, do what you got to do. But I just want to say this, like, a lot of people feel obligated, and we got to stop feeling obligated. We got to. Especially when it comes down to this damn system. You know, this system, they're crooked. You know, they some crooked ass people. All right? So they going to make you feel like you have to do shit. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Just be honest. If you don't feel like you want to go to work anymore, don't step foot in that damn that place. If you don't feel like you want to go to a relative's house, stay your ass at home. If you don't feel like you want to pick up your phone and answer the phone for anyone, don't answer it. If you don't feel like taking your child to school, then don't. Simple as that. Just don't do it. Nevertheless, wake them folks up.